under the age of 12. The pharmaceutical company says that the vaccine was safe and appears to be effective in children 5 through 11. Grady Newsource reporter Kayla Robertson spoke with Ted Ross, the director of the Center of Vaccines and Immunology at the University of Georgia, about the results of the trial. Approval. Then, how Barrow County Schools partnered with a staffing company to help assist in a personnel shortage. And later, a look at how a fraternity raised money for melanoma research in memory of one of their brothers. All this coming up on Grady Newsource.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College at the University of Georgia, this is Grady Newsource.
Good evening, and welcome to Grady Newsource. I'm Emma Robinson. Pfizer released data from its first trials of the COVID vaccine for children under 12. The pharmaceutical company says that the vaccine was safe and appears to be effective in children 5 through 11 years old. Grady Newsource reporter Kayla Robertson spoke with Ted Ross, the director of Center of Vaccines and Immunology at the University of Georgia, about the results of the trial.
And when you have a small body of people, offense is better because you go out there and you discourage criminals from coming here, you actively seek them out, you actively take care of the small stuff. And normally when you take care of the small stuff, the big stuff takes care of itself.
And so can you just explain a little bit what that trial process looks like in children that age?
Well, it's very similar to adults. Children are enrolled and consented with their parents' consent. They get a lower dose of the vaccine compared to adults, about a third of the dose that an adult would get. And they got prime and then they got boosted with the vaccine like adults do. And then they looked to see whether or not there was an immune response that would be considered protective or we would think is good. And so that's what they did in about 2,100 kids.
Once Pfizer applies through the FDA, about how long will that take for it to be approved, and when can children expect to be able to get the vaccine?
I would expect that sometime in October, late October, early November, they'll be given full emergency use authorization.
And I think the biggest question that parents are going to have overall with this coming out is it safe? Is this going to have any potential harmful side effects for my children? So as an expert on vaccines and immunology, what do you have to say to them?
Well, I mean, there's always hesitancy whenever a new vaccine comes out, particularly giving it to children. But we're not going to know these issues about what's the rate of negative effects until hundreds of thousands of kids and others have been vaccinated. So that's just going to take time. But the FDA will not give emergency use authorization if they saw any negative effects in children during the clinical trials. And so far, there doesn't look to be any, no different than what we see in adults. So I expect that a lot of parents will give their kids the vaccine as soon as they get a chance. And that will lead to hundreds of thousands of cases, which makes it very easy to follow if there's an adverse event. And
will children be able to get these through their physicians, or will they be able to get them at, say, their health department or the pharmacies like adults have?
That'll depend on what the FDA decides, but for sure you'll be able to get it through your pediatrician. That's for sure. If they give them the authorization to also do it through pharmacists or health clinics, then that would be available to all kids.
COVID cases at the University of Georgia are falling compared to the first week of classes. Cases spiked the week of August 23rd, then continued to increase the week of August 30th. However, since then, there has been a major decrease in the numbers the week of September 6th, according to the University Health website. Protests about the lack of mask and vaccine mandates at USG schools concluded on Friday. Grady Newsource reporter Shaylin Carroll tells us what they achieved.
At the beginning of the pandemic last year, Broward County is one of the many school systems in Georgia struggling to find substitute teachers to cover at school or online.
We have
Last week's pro-mandate protests at USG campuses, including at the University of Georgia, have yet to receive any response from the USG Board of Regents. UGA's protests had anywhere from 60 to 100 people in attendance each day to hear from speakers such as Athens Mayor Kelly Gertz, State Representative Rebecca Mitchell, and Piedmont Hospital nurses, amongst others. I spoke to Dr. Janet Frick about how the protests went.
What we did accomplish, however, was really making a statement across the state of Georgia that employees throughout the university system of Georgia are in agreement that we want our campus policies to be safer. So even if our leaders are not able or willing to publicly acknowledge that, we made a strong statement in terms of what our campus communities believe.
The smaller counter-protest group that is advocating against a mandate was also back again last Friday. Led by bioinformatics PhD candidate Michael Francis, this group spoke in Tate Plaza about their concerns regarding mask and vaccine mandates. They also had giant heart balloons on display as they passed out pamphlets explaining that the hearts symbolize vaccine-induced heart inflammation or myocarditis. This has been Shaylin Carroll, Grady Newsource.
Barrow County is experiencing substitute personnel shortage. Grady Newsource reporter Alexis Elmore tells us how they're solving it.
Following the beginning of the pandemic last year, Broward County is one of the many school systems in Georgia struggling to find substitute teachers to cover at school or online.
We have, since 2016, used Kelly services, and our fill rate has been in the mid-80s for most of that time. Last year, it dropped to 67%. That was significant for us.
To avoid dropping fill rates this school year, Superintendent Cindy Beggs asked the Broward County School Board on July 27th to approve switching over to Education Staffing Solutions, or ESS.
Jackson County that kind of first made us think of ESS because share the struggles, and Jackson County had mentioned several times what a great job ESS had done in keeping their classes covered with substitutes. So.
And last year we finished out Jackson with COVID and everything going on at 89%. Year prior to that, it was 99%.
Sharon Hutchinson, a 73-year-old retired teacher, was contacted by daughter Jennifer Zell, an instructional coach at County Line Elementary, in need of a substitute, leading her to be one of the first to transition with ESS.
Right before school started, she called and she said, we have a third grade teacher who thought she was going to be able to start the school year, but she had her baby the day before school started. The sub at the very last minute backed out. So here they're starting the first day of school without a teacher for this third grade class.
The lifelong teacher noted that young students need correct attention and a stable teacher presence, which they have not had due to COVID-19.
A rough time for them. And in some ways, they are more like March first graders because that's when they left school. You know, they've had a year of not being in big groups and not having to settle down because they're at home.
Hutchinson plans to work with County Line until fall break, but is willing to stay if they need her for the rest of the school year. Alexis Elmore, Grady Newsource.
In Oglethorpe County, the Sheriff's Department is facing a staff shortage. With 11 officers and 442 square miles of land to cover, Deputy David Gabriel says the department is playing offense.
Small.
Georgia Senate Bill 204 went into effect this January.
And when you have a small body of people, offense is better because you go out there and you discourage criminals from coming here, you actively seek them out, you actively take care of the small stuff. And normally when you take care of the small stuff, the big stuff takes care of itself.
When big issues arise, the department looks to Georgia State Patrol, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, and surrounding counties for help. The department is continuing to look for ways to minimize costs so they can pay competitively. The bail bond industry is quickly changing across the country, and Georgia is no exception. Grady Newsource reporter Allison Queso reports on new technology that can replace traditional bonds.
Georgia Senate Bill 204 went into effect this January, which eliminated release by signature bonds for multiple felonies. Signature bonds allow individuals to sign a document promising to appear in court without any monetary deposit. To help people who are unable to afford traditional cash bonds, Daniel Matalone, founder of Second Chance Bail Bonds, created a monitoring system to serve as another option. A Second Chance Monitoring was founded last year over COVID to help alleviate jails overcrowding. It combines video, GPS tracking, and phone software to provide 24-hour monitoring. Daniel Matalone discusses the benefit of this service.
To have calendar check-ins, it allows you to have a cell phone or have internet or text messaging. It allows you to look for a job.
Matalone says the response has been overwhelming because it works and gives people another option. Second Chance Bail Bonds began servicing Barrow County at the beginning of September, and Matalone hopes to expand the monitoring system to Barrow County soon as well. Matalone's mission continues to be to give back and award people the second chance he was given.
I was afforded a second chance, and now I'm able to do that for other people.
To learn more, please visit asecondchancemonitoring.com. I'm Allison Costa, reporting with Grady Newsource.
Breast health screenings have dropped by 87% in Jackson County. Athens Piedmont Regional and a local women's organization aim to change that.
I think with all the bickering
Jackson County Women in Business teamed up with Athens Piedmont Regional and Tanger Outlets to get people to return to screening. After the break, how Oconee County residents aim to celebrate inclusivity throughout Constitution Week.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
The Georgia Rabies Control Law requires that all pets have an updated rabies vaccine. Grady Newsource reporter Kayla Robertson has more on how Oconee County residents can have their furry friends vaccinated for free.
Oconee County Animal Services is hosting a free rabies vaccine drive-through event for Oconee County residents on September 25th.
So the rabies vaccination clinic that we're hosting is basically to Oconee County residents for their pet's annual rabies vaccination.
Residents will have an opportunity for their pets to receive a free rabies vaccine that could normally cost anywhere from $15 to $35.
I've seen it anywhere from 1 year from $15 to $25 and for a 3 year up to $35.
State laws require that pets over 3 months old have a vaccine.
It is a state law that any animal over the age of 3 months be rabies vaccinated. So we just want to make sure that there's services available for the people in our community that need those services.
Even if you have strictly indoor pets, Barisco says that there are still a couple of important reasons to make sure that they are protected from the disease.
One major one is because it's state law, and two, even though they are considered strictly indoors, there are those chances that that particular animal can escape, and then it would be exposed to outside elements and wildlife in the community.
Pre-registration for the event is required. To register your pet and complete the liability form, visit the Oconee County government website at oconeecounty.com. This has been Kayla Robertson with Grady Newsource.
Up next, a look into this week's weather for Northeast Georgia.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
And now, the weather.
Hi, I'm Ballard Ackway. Let's take a look at the weather forecast for today and look ahead to the rest of your week. Now, as you've probably seen, it's been raining on and off all day today. For the rest of your evening, the temperature will hover around 72 to 73 degrees. We've seen a pretty consistent drizzle all day today, so expect the total rainfall to be around half an inch. For Tuesday, expect more of the same. The rain is going to fall much harder with a 55% chance of rain. The heaviest rainfall will come on Wednesday with thunderstorms in the forecast. There's a 65% chance of rain accompanied by 10 to 15 miles per hour of wind. So make sure to grab your rain jacket and umbrella on your commute to school or to work. However, it's not all gloom and doom for the whole week. The weather will clear up in time for this weekend. Starting on Thursday, your weekend will be perfect conditions, so plan for nothing but open skies and temperatures reaching to the mid to upper 70s for this weekend. And happy fall, everyone. The fall season officially begins this Wednesday. However, expect rain to interfere with any fall activities that you have planned for the day.
After the break, Savannah Ware joins us with Grady Newsource Sports.
There is a road laid out for me, leading down to
boxes everywhere. And this is gonna be Addie's room.
I am blind, but I need not see.
I think you're really gonna like it.
I know this road is there for me. There is a love waiting for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Ways down by the river. I am blind, but I need not see. I know this love is there for me.
Nice and slow.
I got this. Take me down to the river and wash me.
Okay. What do you think?
What if you could feel in control of your retirement in just a few clicks? At aceyourretirement.org, you can. Start with a free 3-minute chat with Avo, your friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer some simple questions like, how do you feel about your ability to save for retirement? Or in how many years do you want to retire? To get free action items customized just for you, get your retirement back on track. at aceyourretirement.org.
And now, sports.
It's another big week for Georgia athletics. The women's golf team has an important week ahead. They are competing in the Mason Rudolph Championship competition this coming weekend in Franklin, Tennessee. I spoke with senior golfer Jenny Bay about their hopes for the week.
We're definitely all excited. We started off our season last week pretty good on a great note.
Jenny is a senior, but plans on playing another season since the NCAA granted extended eligibility due to COVID-19.
I know all of us are just working our butts off, and we're going to do great.
The golf team started their season last week at the Cougar Classic, hosted by the College of Charleston. They placed 4th overall as a team, and Jenny Bay finished 3rd individually with a score of 8 under. She tied her career best 54-hole score at the tournament. I also got to speak with assistant coach Caroline Westrup about the upcoming week and their goals for the season as a whole.
I think they're really ready to go for this next week and at Vanderbilt's tournament, just to kind of prove everybody else wrong that, you know, we're still up there and competing.
The team has big goals for this season, including winning their conference as a whole.
Our really big goal for this year is to win the SEC championship. That's I would say our biggest goal.
Outside of women's golf, you can catch a live men's tennis match this Friday in Athens. Today, the women's tennis team is playing in the Fort Worth 25K tennis tournament in Fort Worth, Texas. The team will remain in Texas competing through Saturday. The team will also be competing in the Ole Miss Ball Tournament in Oxford, Mississippi this weekend. The men's golf team was scheduled to compete in the Scenic City Collegiate Tournament in Ooltewah, Tennessee today and tomorrow, but the event was canceled due to current and foreseeable weather conditions. UGA football is facing Vanderbilt this Saturday in Nashville, Tennessee. The team is defending an undefeated season after beating the University of South Carolina over the weekend. Women's volleyball will face the University of South Carolina in Columbia, South Carolina this Wednesday. They are coming off of a loss to Georgia Tech over the weekend. The women's soccer team is playing Mississippi State at home on Thursday and Louisiana State University in Baton Rouge on Sunday. The team currently has won 7 games and lost 2 this season. This is Savannah Ware, Grady Newsource.
After the break, how UGA fraternity members raised money for the Melanoma Research Foundation in memory of a brother.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight, both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand, trying to text somebody back, because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
You're home before sunrise, on top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Yo, Scott.
Hey.
I'm heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
Oh, you know what? I was just in there. The line is like 10 people long.
You know, I think I'll just...
Dude, are you okay?
You wouldn't believe what I was just thinking. I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this, and I will take that ride home.
Smart man.
Did you see how that dog was looking at me?
Every day,
millions of people are connecting.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together,
we should still make an effort.
We should still make an effort
to get to know each other
on a deeper level. Father,
cosplayer,
mentor,
actor.
It's time we take a step forward.
It's time we take a step forward.
Come together
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
The Sigma Nu chapter at the University of Georgia held their annual Jam for Cam over the weekend, a philanthropy event raising money and awareness for metastatic melanoma. Grady Newsource reporter Wyman Bailey has more on these philanthropic festivities.
Thousands gather at Southern Brewing Company on Friday the 18th to hear some of their favorite bands perform at Jam for Cam. The event has been on a year-long pause due to COVID-19. Many bands were featured for this year's event, such as Fun Room, Grandville, The Revelries, Betcha, and The Main Squeeze. Cam is held in remembrance of Cameron Fearon, who was a UGA student and also a member of the Sigma Nu chapter who passed away from melanoma. The event's purpose is to raise awareness on melanoma and to raise money for Camp Carolina, which is a camp Fearon attended, as well as to raise money for the Melanoma Research Foundation. Melanoma is a form of cancer that attacks the pigment-producing cells that causes skin to have colors. Melanoma accounts for 1% of all skin cancers in the U.S. and causes the most deaths from skin cancer. Cole Smith explains why Sigma Nu has the event and also about the proceeds raised from the event.
So after, unfortunately, Cameron passed from melanoma, a group of us and a group of 30 of us really got together and wanted to honor his life, so we put on a great event for him. The first year we raised near $50K.
So far this year, $141,056 was raised at the event. The event constantly rotated bands from stage to stage to keep the night going. Attendees had the opportunity to walk to the band areas as well as go to multiple food tents, merchandise tents, and also sitting areas. Jimmy McCarthy spoke highly on the kind of impact Fearon had on the fraternity and the message of Jam for Cam for all those who attend.
Cam was an incredible friend to all of us, and this event, more than anything, is just to honor the way he lived his life, the courage and the positive spirit that he lived with, and he was just constantly there to uplift all of us. And so this event is just a small way for us to commemorate his life and also raise awareness for melanoma cancer.
Wyman Bailey, Grady Newsource.
Madison County is hosting its 73rd Agricultural Fair this week in Comer, Georgia. From Tuesday through Saturday, fairgoers can watch livestock shows and wander throughout knitting, crochet, and art exhibits. There will be live music all week long, and admission is $5 and gates open at 6 p.m. Thanks for joining us tonight on Grady Newsource. I'm Emma Robinson. Have a good night.
Grady Newsource is a student production of the Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of Georgia, which is solely responsible for its contents. Views expressed do not represent those of the administration nor the Board of Regents at the University System of Georgia.
There is a road laid out for me, leading down to
boxes everywhere. And this is gonna be Addie's room.
I am blind, but I need not see.
I think you're really gonna like it.
I know this road is there for me. There is a love waiting for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Waist down by the river. I am blind, but I need not see. I know this love is there for me.
Nice and slow.
If
I got
I'm
this.
free, take me down to the river
Nice.
and wash me.
Okay. What do you think?
What if you could feel in control of your retirement in just a few clicks? At aceyourretirement.org, you can. Start with a free 3-minute chat with Avo, your friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer some simple questions like, how do you feel about your ability to save for retirement? Or, in how many years do you want to retire? to get free action items customized just for you. Get your retirement back on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Anyways, great job, people. All of you on the editorial side did fantastic. I don't think this is on, but you guys did fantastic. We had some bumps and bruises on the technical side, but sometimes that's just how it's going to go. But you guys all did great. Your packages looked great. Nikki, great show you put on. Emma, great job anchoring. And I expect all the technical difficulties that we had today, they'll be fixed Wednesday and obviously next Monday. So we could only go up from here, but thank you for bearing with us. And without further ado, Professor D.
Michael, thank you very much. Cassidy, thank you very much. Also thanks to Neil for troubleshooting. We had a few last-minute catches. And I think the show went well. It was rocky as expected. There were some technical glitches. Again, you guys, my anchors, you just keep impressing me more and more. No matter what curveballs, we throw at you, that was impressive because at one point you didn't know what was happening when Nikki had to shift the prompter, and cut a script without being able to tell you. You were very cool and collected. You just kept reading. What happened off the top of the show is that we didn't start streaming it live. But what you guys need to know when you're anchoring, that you're always live on Charter. So you kept your composure. And even though you did not know that you were still live on Charter, staring at the camera, you were professional. And always know that you're always probably on camera. So very well done, Emma. Very impressive with everything that was going on. And at the end, it was very pleasant the way you read the reader, because for some reason, as a parting shot, we couldn't unfloat a script. So you had to read it off your papers. But you did great. You had everything printed out. And so very, very impressive. I want to say a special thank you to Kayla, who did a great job on our breaking news story. It wasn't easy, but she made it happen. I don't know how many hundreds of people you called, and you got a very good expert. He was very good. One thing I know you were editing in the last moment, but if you had a few more seconds, you could have dissolved there were a few jump cuts, and I'm just nitpicking. But you did a great job, and I'm really, really grateful and impressed. And she was really nervous, I could tell. And I was a little nervous because we didn't have a lead story, without this, and we were low on content. And so then once she got a handle on it, and she actually did the interview, it went well, she edited it, and we started writing the lead together because we didn't have time. We wanted Emma to be able to practice the most important, opening script. She looked at me, and what did you tell me? When we were doing you looked at me and you told me how you'd called so many people, and that, well, I will quote you then. I won't put you on the spot. You told me that you actually enjoyed it in a way. We can't hear you, so here, never give your mic to the person you're interviewing, even when it's Kayla.
I just said that once I got over the initial shock of having to do it, that I actually enjoyed it. It was a little bit of an adrenaline rush trying to call everyone and get everything together. So it was kind of fun once I figured everything out and got the ball on a roll. So
yeah, and your questions are very good. And you, basically, I'm so impressed that we were able to. I mean, you didn't even know exactly what I wanted. You asked me, but do I do a package? Do I put B-roll? I said, no. This is an interview. So we had to talk about what an interview is. It's just Q&A. We try to keep it to 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, because then it drags on if it doesn't have visuals. But we did. That was a first, and that was very good. I will have a few more notes. Again, I will remind you guys there was a lot of uneven audio again. So I will be like a broken record. This is your broken record moment. You need to check your audio levels. There were a few packages that really had very jarring differences in audio. So that's really important because you want something, when you work so hard, you want something that could possibly go on your reel. So think about that. It's important. But again, this is just the beginning. And I thank you, Shaylin. You did it again. You helped us with another good update on an important issue. You tried hard to get reaction from the university, and you didn't. So I appreciate the effort. The only one little thing, because I always have to find something, we don't say I spoke to or she told me. Say something very specific and concrete from the interview. Janet Frick says that they did accomplish something. I'm making this up, They did accomplish something even though they didn't have a reaction from the university. That leads you into something, into the soundbite. And so that is the kind of, and because I'm saying this, again, we are learning at your expense today, because I don't know how many people got the same message from me when they sent their scripts. I kept saying, please do not say I spoke to, she told me, she summed up this, or she told us what the purpose of the event is. Something specific. Sometimes you don't even need to set up a soundbite. It just flows out of the flow of and the logic of your package. So don't waste precious time from your 1:30 piece saying, I spoke to her earlier today and she told me, she gave me more details, she elaborated. We don't need to waste time on that. It's not necessary. So we're learning at your expense, but many people got that, trust me. So these are the, let me just go through this quick list, and I understand that for the sports and the weather, we were not able to do the green screen, so that's why you guys were standing in front of, just kind of talking. I think both of you had a very nice demeanor. You were comfortable, and with what you had to work with, it was kind of awkward to stand there and not have something to point to. Usually with the sports, Savannah, you would have been next to the smart board and you would have been able to kind of interact with it a little bit. Same with you. You would have been able, if you were at the green wall, to show us or interact a little bit. But that was not possible this time. I asked you, Ballard, to have fun with the sports, and you did. I mean, with the weather, and you did. You made it very conversational, and I appreciate that. Because, again, my broken record moment, and you guys are getting it. Broadcast style is conversational, it's active voice, it's present tense, somebody is doing something. Not something is being done to someone. So all of you, we had a little bit of a crisis with not enough content, and all of you stepped in. Not only did we need someone to step in with the most important story of the day, but all of you stepped in to contribute and to offer ideas as to how we could repurpose some older stuff that didn't play last week, and how to add to our show. And we ended up being heavy, even though Nikki and I were really worried at one point that we simply didn't have enough content. So let me see see if I have something else important before I pass it on. There were a few nice audiograms. Alexis, I really liked your audiogram, the way you had it with a picture and the great character. You had, you'd worked hard on this story. You thought it through. And that is the kind of, I had several conversations with the TV MMJs. When you're a TV MMJ, we expect you to have a viable story with two sources. And we might turn you around, just like we did with Kayla. She thought she had a package from last week. She just could tweak it, and she's good to go. And all of a sudden, she gets this call from me. And she ran with it. She ran with it, and so this is the kind of thing that you should expect in a professional newsroom. You should expect always to be dressed well on camera. By the way, this looked good. I was a little worried. You looked very good on camera with the, with this cash. It worked, So, but always expect that you will be switched around, and as Kayla shared with you, it is fun. It's a sense of satisfaction that you, despite everything that happened, you were able to come up with something very meaningful and important. And so that I just love that with my job, because where I worked at CNN, that was the essence of my job at that time. Most of it was a lot of ad-libbing, a lot of last-minute, unpredictable things that had to be done and really challenge you to the core of your abilities and knowledge. And sometimes the stories are very difficult, and sometimes, you're satisfied even when the story is difficult and you've done a good job and you've been able to shed light or help people with information that's really important to them, to either allay their fears or explain something to them. That's what our job is. So expect that to happen, because I'm preparing you for the real world. Let me see. Yeah, and oh, yes, very important. Mics, both of you, I could see your mics. You need to thread it through the shirt, or with dresses it's hard, but you can still thread it through the dress. It's kind of more uncomfortable. And just pin it on your lapel or on, but don't have it hanging in front of you. And with your hands, Savannah, I know hands are very difficult, when you're anchoring. So we talked a little bit this morning. I tried to help you. Do what's natural to you. Don't do what I do or what Emma does. But you were so cute. I love this color. You were wearing the similar color. Your hands were just like, we talked about Megan's hands being clasped together. Yours were by the side, and I could tell you were hanging on for dear life with them. So from time to time, you could just, make a gesture, not too much. I tend to speak too much with my hands, so don't look at me. I do it too much, but once in a while you could have, used. Like, I loved your sports. It was so creative with sound bites, and I could tell you were enjoying yourself, and you really understood what you were talking about, and so you did a great job. Everything was great. Just I'm adding on a little bit of a gesture. I think it will release you to perform even more naturally if you do that as well, and just kind of, you could, like we talked, you could have your head this way for one thing, and then this way for another, and also use your pitch, and also use, the voice, the tone. So there are many different things you can try. Don't be too self-conscious. You're doing a great job as is, but that's the only thing I would suggest. And same with you, Ballard. But you know, I could tell that both of you really enjoyed, and that gets to the viewer, and you engage with them when you're enjoying. As I told you this morning, for me it's like a feeling. The way I overcome the fear of that dentist chair in the studio is I just think of the people I'm talking to, and that releases me, and I think it helps me engage more. That works for me. Might not work for you, but for what it's worth, I'm sharing the way I approach some of the fears we have. And with Kayla, I was talking, you know, nothing can scare you now. Once you've had these moments and you've tackled them by yourself with a little bit of help, it gives you self-confidence like nothing else in this world. And so these are important, precious moments of learning. And if you need to look at somebody who's very good with hands and gestures and kind of a very engaging performance, Shaylin, that comes very natural to her. And so something you can look at your favorite anchors or people that you like on camera. What do they do? And see, you know, if that is something that comes natural to you. So keep working on these things. I really liked Wyman's package. Where are you, Wyman? Yeah. You know, I really appreciate you went there, you took all that B-roll. There's just one thing to be careful for all of us. It happens to all of us. Be careful with the transition B-roll. When you talked about the bands, you were showing people jamming and having a great time, and then you talked about melanoma. And to me, that was the only thing, again, I'm nitpicking, you know me, that was the only thing that was jarring to me in this beautiful piece you put together. Thank you for adding that context that I asked you on melanoma. But again, think of the transitions. Even with the B-roll, sometimes, like with the script that I approved, I didn't think of that awkwardness. I thought you would be just showing the stage with bands and then go and say, you know, this is to benefit, you know, to raise money for melanoma. But because you had people who were, you know, laughing, and it just was jarring to me, but I couldn't see it when I was approving your script. So just be mindful of these things. It happens to all of us. But you know, I really commend you for coming so well prepared and already having shot this package. Yeah, very nice. And those are my major things, nitpickings. Again, I think we made a major step forward today. We had another baptism by fire of a new producer. And she was also, just like Kayla, I could tell she was she had a hard time focusing initially. She shared that with me. I think you were a little overwhelmed, which is normal. And again, I saw that. What gave me the greatest satisfaction was that you started timing that show and you didn't even need me. And I saw the confidence. I saw the confidence grow in you. In 9 hours, I saw 2 people who became much more confident and sure of themselves and really grew today. You were one, Kayla was the other. And most of you made a little step forward, but for them, it was, I just saw a major breakthrough. And I hope I'm not wrong, exaggerating, but I think I should stop speaking and hand it over to overcame the things that we did well, things the next show can do in a different way.
I'd like to say everyone did such an amazing job, especially like me coming in this morning and realizing I was a little bit short on some content. Kayla, thank you so much for coming up with that amazing package on such short notice. Absolutely saved like everything about this show. It was the perfect way to open it, so strong. Emma, amazing, like overcoming the beginning of it. You looked extremely confident and didn't look worried once. Like I saw no fear in your eyes whatsoever. So definitely moving forward, like everyone going to be an anchor. I know I'm going to be one on Wednesday. Going in with that mindset, like everything's going to be okay, no matter what happens on the technical side. If something else is running on the prompter, just know that it will be okay, and keep that cool as a cucumber vibe. And just seeing that you were that calm made me even more calm behind. I was like, okay, she's confident, therefore I can be confident. Yes.
How important we talked about, Nikki and I talked about, even when there were moments when she had to take split-second decisions and she couldn't inform her anchor what was going on, I told her, even though it's late after the fact, and she handled it beautifully. In the last moment, we changed the script that came up in the prompter, and she just read it. But I know from experience how jarring that can be, because you don't know what's going on, and if you did the right thing. And so I told her, even though she handled it, explain to her what happened during the package. And Nikki told her, this is the reason why we had you do this. So these are important things for the producer who's going to be producing you to know as well. That's why I'm doing it for
Yes, thank you. Yes, so like if you're making the changes last minute, definitely, even if you can't inform the anchor beforehand, let them know afterwards, just so they can stay calm, know kind of what's going on, and get a better grasp of it. Also, she did a great job. We weren't able to unfloat this one part of the script, and wasn't able to put it on the rundown, on the prompter, and she handled that very well. Was able to read that. So just kind of going over and knowing how long everything's going to be in the future. So if you do need to run that and make sure it's going to run smoothly, definitely keep that in mind. Yeah. And then I think that's about all I have to say. I was going to mention like audio things when you're also creating your packages as well, because I know the people on the technical side did have to quickly adjust some scripts or not scripts, but some of the audio, because it was really loud in one part and like almost a whisper in others. So going forward, just double checking that before you submit it would be fantastic, both for the people in the technical room, our people watching our show live, just team as a general.
and professionalism. I also want to thank Davis, who acted as my copy editor for sports. I used his expertise, so he helped me out because there was a lot of late stuff, a lot of things that I needed to tackle. And so that was very, you're gelling as a team, and everybody's, we had Riley saying, okay, and Savannah's doing sports, and she said, I'm going to try and help you with the Pfizer story, and Riley reaching out to people who are saying, sorry, we're too busy. But, everybody, I was impressed with everybody today, and you should know how proud I am and happy with you. Anybody wants to add? We've got 3 more minutes. Anything that anything that you learned, any memorable moments for you that you want to share as we look at Wednesday? Mm-hmm. Oh, we have another mic. Oh.
Well, first of all, awesome show. I thought it was really, really well. But just when we are doing rundown theater, are commercials something that we have room?
and you have to explain it to your boss. Why? So usually it's done for breaking news when it's not appropriate. Like, one example I can give you, for example, there's a plane crash, and you know that you have a commercial for fly the friendly skies, you know. You want to be very careful. Plus, you have a plane crash, people want to know if their loved ones survived. You just blow through your brakes and just keep doing rolling news coverage. And then justify it. I'm sure your boss will not ask you, why did you do that? September 11th, I don't remember a commercial for days in a row after that terrorist attack. So a commercial, yes, you can shorten, you can get rid of it altogether, but there has to be a reason to do that. And justifiable reasons are tragedies, attacks, you know, things like that. But we don't allow you to do it here because we want you to not use that as a crutch. Even though we're not making money with our PSA announcements, they're still important, right, people? But we're not making money out of it. But we don't want you to use that as a crutch. It's a very good question, and I'm glad you asked it so that I can explain the logic of it. Great question. Anybody else? Question, comment? You look tired. You worked very hard both weeks, so, and it doesn't show on air, no matter how. The thing is, you know, no matter how you feel and how tired you are, you can't show it to the viewers. And somehow, always, no matter what happened to me in my personal life, I found a way when this camera is on me or when I have to write a script. You know, I find a way around it. That's professionalism. That's what we're trying to also do here. And a lot of you showed a lot of professionalism here. So guys, I think we're almost out of time. Yes, Davis.
No worries at all. But everybody was really responsive, especially I know that everybody wants to get their package done by 4, but then I'm always asking for extra stuff on top. And everybody was really helpful, so I appreciate it.
Wonderful to know, and I apologize for not giving you the floor. Yeah, but that is great that despite all the demands that I put on you for the show, you were able to also live up to our digital ambition as well. That's wonderful. Guys, you should be very proud of yourselves, but you should know that we have to keep developing and growing. So I look forward to Wednesday, and I think the TV MMJs, you understood what it means to be on news gathering. You have to keep preparing for the next week, what it means to be a TV MMJ during the day. It really means we're relying on you for a package with 2 sources and could turn you around real quick to show you what you're made of, that you can handle anything. So love you guys, really proud of you, and let's do even better on Wednesday. Give yourselves a hand.